Thank you. So a few months ago, I bought some singular phones for the family. If we could have the slides go up, thank you. And $30, $40 rebate. So now I have a billing relationship with them, so they ought to just deduct it from my bill. Or they should maybe mail me a check. But 12 weeks later, they mail me these credit cards. Now, credit cards feel really valuable. And so it's sort of exciting to hold something in your hand. And then you realize that what they've actually done is send you a debit card with exactly $30 on each one. Which means, and the expiration date is 60 days after you get it. Which means that you have to have a negotiation with a clerk in order to do it. Because if you buy something for $38, you say, well, all right, I'm going to give you this card, charge me $30, and then I'll give you the other $8. And if you buy something for $27, there's only $3 left on it, it's broken. The point is that they had this opportunity. By the way, full value on those, except it's expired. They had the opportunity to deepen the relationship, to make it so that when it was time to renew, I wouldn't hate them. But instead, someone set out to say, how can we maximize breakage? How can we maximize the number of times people won't use the card, right? I mean, they should have just carved a check on a giant piece of stone and trucked it to my house and see if I get it. So that leads to what I came to talk about today, which is the inspiration for a website that I conned Mark into starting called This Is Broken. And what I came to talk about today is stuff that's broken, why it's broken, and why sometimes it's a good thing, but usually it's a bad, and how all around us is this huge potential, hidden potential, to make things unbroken and benefit from it. I invented This Is Broken because of a cab stand at Newark Airport. You get there, there's 75 people in line, and there are 75 cabs, and it takes an hour. And there's a man in a uniform who will get you in trouble if you just go and get in a taxi. If they just said, Craigslist style, everyone go, and got out of the way, it would work. But it doesn't work because of a whole bunch of complicated reasons. And I want to talk about what I think 7 of those reasons might be. But first, I got to take a minute. I got to explain. I've never given this presentation before, not one word of it, not one picture. And I may never give it again. But I'm winging it, so we'll see what happens. But what does it mean to be broken? First of all, if I think it's broken, it's broken. Now, you get to say the same thing. If you think it's broken, it's broken. Now, the person who made it might not care if you think it's broken. And that's the incredible stupidity of the comments section of This Is Broken, which is that no matter how broken something is, someone will post a note saying, I don't think it's broken, and here's why. Right? And I don't care if you don't think it's broken. If I think it's broken, it's broken. So, that said, here are 7 reasons why things might be broken. The first symptom is, the first cause might be the not my job syndrome. The second one could be created by a selfish jerk. The third one is the world changed in between the time it was designed and the time you used it. The fourth one is I didn't know. The fifth one is I'm not a fish, which is one of my favorites. The sixth one is contradictions. And the 7th one is broken on purpose. And I'm going to whip through these as quick as I can. I am sure that this is not the right list. I'm sure I'm leaving things out, but I'm winging it here. So here we go. Not my job. Someone actually made this sign. Now, the guy who made the sign is gluing the letters, right? And he's a smart guy. He knows it's stupid. It's broken, but it's not my job to fix it. This is the movie theater. If you know anything about movies, you know that 99% of their profit comes from the crap they sell you at the concession stand. So tell me why this is the line to buy something with a 95% gross margin. The people at the counter are doing their best, but there aren't enough of them. The system is broken. Somewhere along the line, somebody had the job of reducing the cost at the theater. And the easiest way to reduce the cost is to, play with the thermostat or have fewer people at the concession stand. And there's one theater in Bronxville, New York, where the concession stand closes 30 minutes after the last showing. It starts. So there's an hour where there are hungry, fat Americans who want to buy more food at 95% markups. They can't do it. This sign is sitting on a big electric gate. So the people who are making the gate are making a device that can crush small children to death. And they're putting the sticker on it, knowing what the sticker says, right? They ought to walk down the hall to the engineer and say, no, the sticker is not the solution to the problem. There's a lot of broken things in men's rooms. I don't know about ladies' rooms, but in men's rooms there's a lot of broken things. It's not altogether clear why. But I have just one or two examples. You can get in trouble taking too many pictures, but I have one or two examples. The problem is someone had the authority to make this sign, but not enough authority to fix the reason they made the sign in the first place. And one of the symptoms of not my job thinking is when you see something that's not broken everywhere, and there's just a sign to help the public navigate the problem. This is one of my favorites. I have no explanation whatsoever for that one. So this one came from Mark. Did you take this picture? Sent to Mark. Okay, so it's for a dog. It's a prescription for a dog, and it says, can you read it back there? Alcohol may intensify the effect. Use care when operating a car or dangerous machinery. So the pharmacist knew it was for a dog, but it's not her job to decide not to put the sticker on. Now, some things that are broken you didn't notice were broken until I put this in your head, which is really nasty of me, because now for the rest of your life, you're going to be as frustrated as I am. People with bikes pay just as many taxes as people with cars. But there's no one whose job it is to make it easy to park your bike. So instead, people with bikes have to do things like navigate with trees, because there's no one whose job it is to address the problem. So lots of people can see it's a problem as you walk down the street and you see bikes getting stolen or hanging off things. There should be an easy way to park your bike, because the taxpayer paid for it. There should be someone whose job it is. But once again, we're talking about what happens when an organization gets so big that they assign things. Another one. New York makes sense except for the West Village. Everyone in the West Village is lost. So if you're lost, you can't go to the Soy Luck Club and do business, and so she can't pay as much in sales tax. Why not, on every single light post, have a little map of the West Village? I'll tell you why, because it's no one's job to do that. And my last one is this. Engineers will tell you there's a good reason that batteries go up and down. It's series or parallel or some nonsense that I don't understand. Okay, but it's somebody's job to say, wait a minute, if we just moved a couple wires, we could make all the batteries face the same direction. That should be their job. Oh, I'm sorry, and the last one, Museum of Natural History. I don't know if you were there yesterday, but if you saw it every day, this is what the garbage can looks like. And the guy who has to clean up the garbage can, it's not his job to get a better garbage can. So instead, every single day, he has to clean up all this trash. Oh, I got one more. We spend millions of dollars dumping these things, which is a good thing to do, on people who need food. Why are they designed to look like bombs? Right? I mean, what's the point there? Not my job to fix that. Okay, the next one is selfish jerks. There's a little bit of an echo of some of my past work here. The publisher of the Wall Street Journal sends me some spam to sign up. No, I don't care about you. You have not only wasted my time, but you have gone ahead and hurt your brand to get something in the short run. Another example is actually not selfish, it's just theft, and it really hurt my feelings. But these people are selling sort of organic cigarettes. And it's broken, but it works on some people who don't think it's broken, but it's selfish. It's selfish to use the ability to tell that story in order to eventually kill and maim your customers. This guy used to be a respected best-selling author, but in his quest to sell more and more books, he's decided it's okay to do something that's broken, spamming people to sell more. And Chase, some guy really in a hurry to sell more credit cards, decides it's okay to break his brand by spamming people. And this is the contract I have to sign for my kid to skateboard. Now, if the goal is to tell me the truth about risk, it should be designed in a way that I'm actually going to read it and understand. If the goal, on the other hand, is to put enough stuff on the page that after, God forbid, he breaks his wrist, and I try to sue them, they can say, ha, 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 we tricked you, then that's what they accomplished. But once again, it's an example of something being broken. And this is a little riff that was on This Is Broken from an airport, I think in Montreal or Toronto. Internet access, they don't have Wi-Fi, you have to pay for this machine. There's one of these machines. First thing, they don't want to pay for new keyboards. So the keyboard is made out of kryptonite, and you're unable to actually use it. And the chair is really uncomfortable, and the screen is loaded with ads and stuff at the top, so it takes a really long time to surf. Also that you would end up having a lot of throughput because they make more money on short-term usage, and B, so that you wouldn't get a lot done. Doesn't make sense. This one, I wish I had more pictures for. Napoleon Dynamite, right? Great T-shirt worn by Napoleon. The thing is, it's spread throughout the whole net. You can make one of these T-shirts by buying letters and ironing them on. But the officially licensed T-shirts don't look like that. The officially licensed T-shirts have all sorts of stuff that grown-ups think should be on an officially licensed shirt. So they went ahead and said, we can make it better than it was in the movie. Broken. That the whole generation wanted to be like it was in the movie. And I think that this whole idea of the world changing, I wish I had better pictures to tell you, is a key cause where someone is designing a business model or a product from one era and ends up in a different era and unwilling to fix it. Contradictions. This one I saw in my sister-in-law's bathroom. I can't imagine buying this product. I can imagine using it, right? You got a kid who's like, their jugular is spouting blood. You want one of these. But in the drugstore, you don't want to imagine that you're ever going to need it. Someone sent me this from Germany, professional gum. There's just, it doesn't match. And this one someone sent me that was on my blog for a while. Now, the contradictions can be really subtle. The agent he wants probably won't be, this won't appeal. This pitch doesn't appeal to the agent that will help him. So again, an internal contradiction can get you in a lot of trouble. And this is the wine list at a restaurant that's all in a tablet. Now, wine is all about like paying $90 for something that was made in oak in France. And as soon as you add the Windows operating system to wine, you're just not going to pay as much. You know, and if you're midlife and still fat, you know a miracle isn't going to help you. Okay, this one is really cool. I'm not a fish. Here's a culvert. Okay? A culvert. The problem is the trout or the salmon or whatever can't get up. They need this culvert. The problem is the person who designed the culvert isn't a fish. Just like the person who designed this sign that says nothing doesn't drive to the airport. They know where they're going. They don't need a sign. Or the traffic engineer who thinks that these 5 letters mean something to anybody. I mean, if you know what this means, you're not lost and you don't need the sign. They should just take it down. And at the fairway, you know, the person who made this sign is not a bargain shopper, and it's unlikely that they're... So this is PayPal. PayPal sends you a letter to confirm your address. Now, I could have done 10,000 web examples, but they're boring. This one just happened to me. They send you a letter to confirm your address. You had to enter the code. But if you didn't get the letter and you need another one, which button are you supposed to press? If their goal is to have an interaction with you, they should make it easy to have an interaction. This one I found on the web. This is the design for a dashboard, I don't know which car. The problem is when you put the cups in the cup holder, they get chilled by the air conditioner and you can't touch any of the controls. The person who designed it doesn't drink coffee. Okay, the I didn't know category, and I'm going to have to go a little faster. At the bottom of this box of chocolate, it says, do not read while the box is open. You know, I didn't know it would dump chocolate on everybody's lap. You should have. This is from JFK, a directory in 12 languages of everything in the airport. Anybody in a hurry has no chance whatsoever of finding anything. This is a product from Japan called water salad pureed romaine lettuce in a jar. This is a product, I think, from Greece. I didn't know. And this is a very famous beverage from Japan. It's a little too sweet, but the guy in Japan, that's apparently a good riff that people want to drink. This is for $1 million laser cutter in a factory in Buffalo, New York. Now, I want you to look at the dirty parts. Those are the buttons that get pressed. There are buttons that never, ever get pressed. Every button is exactly the same size. It doesn't make sense. The person who built this never used it, never thought about what is going to happen. And so as a result, it's a failure. And back to JFK, if you're going to Uzbekistan Airways, this is the only sign in the entire roadway that tells you where to go. The only one. So if I think about all the decisions I need to make at the airport, probably the single most important one is going to the right terminal. But again, you know what I'm saying. And I don't know, if someone can explain this sign to me, you win a prize. Okay. My penultimate category is broken on purpose, which is my opportunity to show you my socks. Now, my son points out that the socks do match because they're both the same thickness. But the point is, they're broken on purpose so that people will see the brokenness of them, comment on it, notice it, and maybe buy a pair. And some other examples I have of that, Jimmy Choo shoes are not good shoes. They are not good at being shoes. They're good at something else. They're broken on purpose. So don't complain if they hurt your feet, because that's not what they're for. This sign is trying... And I like this one a lot, too. Now, Edward Tufte is really proud of this graph. He says that this is the best graph ever made. I think he's completely out of his gourd and totally wrong. I think this is one of the worst graphs ever made. He's very happy because it shows 5 different pieces of information on 3 axes, and if you study it for 15 minutes, it really is worth 1,000 words. I don't think that's what graphs are for. I think you're trying to make a point in 2 seconds for people who are too lazy to read the 40 words underneath. And to make me spend 15 minutes studying it doesn't make sense. And I thought about it, and I was going to stand up here and jump all over him, and then I moved it to this section, because he picked it because it's broken on purpose. For the kind of person that you want to reach, they want to read a complicated, difficult to understand graph and get the satisfaction of figuring it out, because then they get it. And so what I thought was interesting about showing you this is it's easy for us to project our bias. I think it's broken, therefore it's broken, on everything, when in fact, sometimes the best thing to do is break it for the people you don't care about, and just make it work for the people that you do. This tie, on the other hand, is a whole other story. Okay, and I want to close by showing you some that are just plain broken. I'll comment if I think it's appropriate. These are the famous internet marzipan babies. This sign speaks for itself. You could explain that one to me later if you want to. Now, Samsung makes a knockoff of the iPod for people who are too cheap to buy the real one. And their ad says, "Fly like a rock star," with pictures of a knockoff of 2 rock stars listening to a knockoff of the iPod. So I didn't get that one either. This one goes without saying. This is one of my faves. Those are bullet holes. Now, in this Superman cartoon, they got to figure out a way that Superman's going to pretend to be Clark Kent for like several days on this deserted island. So, because he wants to get Superman to turn into Clark Kent, which never helps solve a crime, he has to come up with this whole long explanation, thus making the entire story bogus. And one of the categories I need to invent, which I don't have a name for, is this idea that you want something to happen, so you break the interaction in order to get to where you want. It never works. And that's my last one. There are my credits. If you get a chance, I challenge you to go to This Is Broken, upload your own. Thank you for your attention. I appreciate it. Thank you.